Hello, today we're playing Would You Rather, but make it bookish. This tag was originally created by Kat at Curious Cat, and I was tagged a while back by Bonnie Nicole at Bonnie Nicole Writes. I will link both of their videos down below. And I've intentionally not looked at these questions since I was first tagged in order to have to kind of like rapid fire answer these. So here goes. Okay, the first quandary here is, would you rather never read more than one book from the same author? You can't reread either. Or read only books from your favorite author or one author of your choice. This one's easy for me. I would never read more than one book from the same author. I am happy to give up my favorite author or authors as long as I can read a greater variety of books by a greater variety of authors. There's so many great authors out there, so many wonderful books by all kinds of different people. I would much rather have that variety. The second one is read a book with an unlikable MC, main character, or your favorite character dies. I would definitely rather read a book with an unlikable main character. I don't mind unlikable characters as long as I don't feel like the author wants me to like the character and yet I still don't like them. If it's clear to me that that character is not supposed to be likable and they're well developed, then I don't have an issue with an unlikable main character. And I'm totally okay with my favorite character dying if that ending makes sense, if the progression towards that was good, if the story is good, if the character arc was good. So definitely I would rather read a book with an unlikable MC. Next one. Start your library from scratch, but you can't rebuy any of the books that were on your shelves before, or never be allowed to add a new book to it. Definitely start my library from scratch. There are a few books from my childhood that I'd be pretty sad to, have to let go of. But I'd rather be able to have that endorphin buzz of purchasing a new book or finding a new book, thrifting one, picking one up in a library, even if it's not going to stay on my shelf. I would much prefer that over having the books that I currently have on my bookshelf because I can always repurchase those. Next. Your favorite author never publishes anything new or only publishes bad books from now on. I think that I'd prefer my favorite author never to publish anything new because if all of the books are going to be bad from then on, then I wouldn't want to read those anyway, so they might as well not publish any new books. Next up, read only one of your favorite genres or read as widely as you want except in that one genre. I would rather read widely than to read only one genre. So I would give up. The thing is, I don't really know if I even have a favorite genre. I have a couple genres that I love equally. So I would be okay with giving one of those up if I could read really good books in every other genre. Would I rather be stranded forever on a deserted island with a full library or still live in society, but books have disappeared? I would definitely prefer to live in society. I ultimately need people. Like as much as I love books and as much as I will say that I'm more introverted than I am extroverted, I think I would go insane if it was just me by myself on an island forever, no matter how many books I had. I need real friends, not just like imaginary friends. And if it was a society with no books, I feel like we would just kind of go back to the oral tradition and oral storytelling. And over time, we'd just invent books all over again, as long as they're not banned. So that would certainly be my preference. Next up, SFF. I'm not sure what SFF is. Like science fiction something? Science fiction fantasy maybe? That's what I'm going to go with, science fiction fantasy. I know MC is main character, but I'm not sure what SFF is. Anyway, SFF, read only 5-star series, but they're unfinished, or read only thick standalones with a bunch of info dumping. Definitely read only 5-star series, but they're unfinished because I often don't finish series anyway. Even if I really love them, sometimes I'll just read the first book in a series and then 2 years later I'm like, oh, I should probably, read that second book. So that wouldn't be a major sacrifice for me. Meanwhile, I hate info dumping. Like when a book does a whole lot of exposition in a clumsy way. That's one of my pet peeves, so I wouldn't like that. Okay, next one is about mystery. Always get book twists spoiled, or they all have an open ending, the killer isn't caught. I don't like being spoiled. That kind of ruins the fun of reading a book for me, depending on the genre, but especially in this genre. The whole point of mystery is to kind of, be surprised by what happens at the end, or part of the point anyway, for me. And it's one thing if you figure out what happens while you're reading it, like you're able to solve the mystery, because at least you get some pleasure out of, how smart you were to figure that out. But if someone else is spoiling it for you, then that totally ruins the fun of a mystery novel for me. Meanwhile, an open ending or the killer not being caught, I mean, if that were always the case, it would get annoying. But I still prefer to be kind of left wondering than to have the ending spoiled. So that's my preference. Next, about historical romance. Great love story, but historical inaccuracy, or toxic or meh love story, but great historical world building. Interesting one. I think it depends what type of story a historical romance is, like how we're defining that. If it's something that's kind of supposed to be historical fiction, then I want the history to be more accurate. But if it's historical romance where it's like romance heavy, the romance is kind of the point, it's what's driving the plot, then I need the romance to be good. And I don't really care as much if the historical aspects are accurate. Like if we're thinking Bridgerton or something like that, where nobody who's watching Bridgerton, and I'm referring to the show here because I've actually never read those books, but nobody who's watching that show has the expectation that it's like historically accurate to the Regency era. We just kind of like suspend our disbelief about that and have fun with it. And it's really like the romance that is the crux of it. And the romance has to be good or it ends up sucking, right? So that is my preference for how I'm defining historical romance, which would be like romance heavy. Okay, next. Read a book that has the best characters, plot, writing, but none of the others. Okay, so I guess this means that it either has great characters, but a crappy plot and crappy writing, or it has a great plot, bad characters, bad writing, or great writing with bad characters and bad plots. I'm kind of automatically going to say characters because I just know that that's always the most important thing to me. If I don't care what happens to these people, or even if I don't like them, I'm like not interested in them, I don't find them interesting to think about, then it doesn't matter how great the plot is or how great the writing is. So I'm going to go with characters. Although I will say that I feel like it's pretty hard to write good characters and like good character development if you don't also have pretty decent writing. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like super beautiful poetic prose or whatever, but ordinarily when you have really good character development, the writing is at least going to be solid. So I feel like I'm getting a 2-for-1 on that one a little bit. I feel like I'm failing at the rapid fire thing because I'm expanding on every answer. I just can't help it. It's just in my nature. But let's try the next one. Have a friend who loses your books or mistreats them, stains, breaks the spine, etc. I would rather have a friend who mistreats the books because I'd rather have the book back in whatever condition than not have it back at all. I won't expand any further. We'll move on. Never be allowed to visit a bookstore again or be banned from all the libraries in the world. Okay, this one's actually hard. I don't know. If it's just me who's banned from every library in the world, but everybody else can visit their libraries, then that's probably the one I'm going with because I need libraries to continue to exist. But would I still have my Libby app though? Like, am I just banned from physical libraries? Because if I can't use the library app and download free ebooks and free audiobooks, then I might have to get rid of the bookstores. But let's just go with physical libraries because this is getting too complicated. So I would rather be banned from physical libraries because There's just something about the bookstore experience that I absolutely adore, and like bookstore culture and all of that. And there's so many bookstores that have like cute little cafes and you can sip your coffee and sit there while you're reading a book that you pulled from the shelf, whether or not you buy it. Maybe you can put it back in the shelf, come back tomorrow, or you can buy it. But yeah, I love bookstores. Again, I'm expanding too much. Let's move on. All right, next one. Everyone hates your favorite books, or everyone loves the books you hate. Everyone hates your favorite books, or everyone loves the books you hate. I'm okay with people hating my favorite books. A lot of people hate Wuthering Heights, and that's one of my favorite books. I don't really have a problem with that. So I guess, you know what though? That's a lot of people. That's not everyone. I think if everyone, literally everyone in existence, hated my favorite books, that would be terrible, because there wouldn't be like one person that I could sit and have a conversation with about like, oh my God, I know, isn't that amazing, right? So I guess I've changed my mind. I'm going with, I would rather everyone love the books that I hate. I can hate them, you can enjoy them, go have your fun. Okay, next up. Only listen to audiobooks narrated by the worst narrator, Mickey Mouse, or only read physical books in terrible lighting. I prefer physical books over audiobooks. I do like audiobooks. I've gotten better at processing books in that way, but I do prefer physical books. And I often read books in bad lighting anyway. Like sometimes I'm just lying there reading a book and the light is fading, but I'm too lazy to like go over to a lamp or the light switch or something to turn it on. So I'll continue reading until like I literally can't read anymore, that it's so dark. So I think I would go with reading physical books in bad lighting. I'm assuming an ebook doesn't count because it has the built-in light. So obviously, if my eyesight got bad enough that I wouldn't be able to read at all in that lighting, then I would switch my answer. But for right now, with my current eyesight, I'm going with physical books. And next up. Books from a same series or collection who don't match. I like that we're saying who for books like they're people. Books from a same series collection who don't match, or read books printed in tiny font. I don't have a problem with books not matching unless it's like a super special collection or something. I think it's kind of charming when you have mismatched books in a series, like different editions or whatever. So I would go with that. Books with a tiny font can get like a little bit annoying, even if you're okay with reading in dim lighting. All right, next one. Never post another YouTube video, or never watch YouTube ever again. I would never post another YouTube video. If I'm not watching any other YouTube videos, if I can't watch other videos ever again, then what is the point of posting the videos? I'd just be like posting out into the void without like interacting, having conversations with others outside of my own comments. So that would be no fun. And then that's it, actually. The last one is tag other people, which I shall do down below. But as always, consider yourself tagged if you want to do this one. And if you've already done the tag and I tag you, not a problem. Of course, you don't have to do it again. And if you don't feel like doing the tag, even though I've tagged you and you haven't done it yet, then don't feel required to do it. So there's no pressure here, not a homework assignment. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Okay, so I think I need to know what some of your answers were for some of these. Drop your most painful choice down below. And just an FYI, I probably won't be posting a video next week because I am going to Spain. So pretty excited, but I will be sharing pictures probably in the community tab, especially anything bookish, but also probably food and wine and art and architecture or whatever. Basically, it's going to be a travel channel for a week until I come back. But once I'm back home, I will be posting more book content. Thank you for joining me. Happy reading, everybody. Bye-bye.